Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reckless Paradise Podcast. I am your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is another year in wrestling episode. Now, this one is going to be kind of fresh, kind of new, because it just happened. I'm going to be talking about the year of wrestling in 2025. I know it's in the rearview mirror. We're already almost a month into the new year, so might as well just look back on the previous year, 2025. This is the list of the promotions that were around during this time. AAW Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, All Japan Pro Wrestling, CZW Combat Zone Wrestling, CMLL, Cyberfight, which is DDT Pro Wrestling Noah, and Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling TJPW, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, Defy Wrestling, Dragon Gate, Dreamstar Fighting Marigold, which is just Marigold, Game Changer Wrestling, German Wrestling Federation, House of Glory, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide, which is AAA, Major League Wrestling, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Progress Wrestling, 01, which is Pro Wrestling 01, Rev Pro, ROH, TNA, WXW, which is West Side? West Side Extreme Wrestling, Women of Wrestling, which is WOW, World Wonder Ring, or Stardom, which is Stardom, and then WWE. So, with that being also said, we are going to be kind of going into some of the events here on this show, on the calendar here. The first one was January 1st, which was AEW's Fight for the Fallen. And the main event was rated FTR when Cope was still active. I know he's kind of he's off TV right now, doing something. But it was a Cope, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood versus the Dev Riders, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler, Utah. CMLL, which was Sin Salida, if I'm saying that correctly. This was a 12-way steel cage match with Ultimo Dragoncito, Shakercito, Panino Perez. If I'm pronouncing these words or names incorrectly, I'm so sorry. Galaxy, which, I mean, that's Pequeño Magica, Angelito, Full Metal, Ros, Ros, Rostro de Esiro. Again, if I'm pronouncing these words incorrectly, I'm so sorry. Pequeño Olímpico, which, I mean, that's a good name. And Pequeño Valencia. Like, the fuck? But Caligula loses his mask in that 12-way steel cage, which is like, that's crazy to have 12 people in a steel cage, right? Pro Wrestling Noah, which is the new year, 2025. Ozawa, yeah, that's right. Ozawa defeated Gito to win the GHC World Championship. I actually watched this show. This was actually a really good show. Because it had what was her name? Dump Masato. That's what it is. Which is actually really very well now renowned Japanese wrestler. Come from humble beginnings and all that stuff, and then kind of working her way up to who she's now is today. Which is like really cool. Yeah, there was the Noah Rumble, which I watched. That was actually a really good Rumble. The triple threat for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Title match. That was actually kind of good too. Um, Galeno Del Mal versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. That was actually a really good one too. Um, Kenta versus Keno, like that was actually a good match too. The GHC junior heavyweight title match too. Elita versus Daga, that was actually a good one. There's actually some pretty good matches on this card. This one was actually a huge shock to me. The Team 2000X, which was Jack Morris, who is very underrated by the way, with Olmos, who is who is still he got let go and then he went down like wound up in Noah, which was actually kind of interesting. Um, but he defeated like Marufuji, which is like one of the like Japanese like forefathers at this point. Um, Shinsuke Nakamura was on that card. Like it was actually a really good card. I actually liked that show. Let's see here. Stardom Do Your Dream, which was a Neo Genesis Suzuki and Starlight Kid defeated Hate. Saya Kaminate, Kamitani. That's right. That's right. And then Momo Watanabe, which Saya actually was in the Wrestle Kingdom this year, which I actually watched and actually went in good length on in the shoot the shit episode last time or last month I should say, or no, yeah, last weekend. Sorry. Um, Marigold. Oh yes, the Wrestle Kingdom 19 card. I actually want to like talk about this in kind of good length here. Um, I don't. I can't remember. Oh yeah. No, because I actually didn't watch this show. I did not watch this show. I actually waited until it was like the next day, and then I had uh, downloaded it on my tablet, and I watched the all the matches on it. It was a good card in retrospect, but I think it just didn't. I guess it just doesn't live up to some of the hype that some of the previous Wrestle Kingdoms had before it. I mean, the Tokyo Tower or the Tokyo Terror Tower like ladder match, which was just tables, ladders, and chairs, for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles, which was a Fatal Four Way. Um, I think it was actually a really good match to like kind of get things going, and then the women's match was actually kind of good too. Um, but then like after the TV title match, it kind of went downhill with Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Evil, which I mean, to be honest with you, both of them are getting kind of their age at that point. Last year, it's sad to see, or sad to say, like like Tanahashi is like fully retired at the time of this recording, from Wrestle Kingdom in New Japan and all stuff, because he's up there in age, man. Um, the Konosuke Takeshita versus Shingo Takagi, never openweight championship versus and the international championship match was actually kind of good too. That was actually really good. It's sad that it got like 12, almost 12 and a half, like after entrances and all, it's almost got 13 minutes. Like that's crazy. Um, the the junior heavyweight match was kind of boring. Yota Tsuji and David Finlay was actually kind of good too. That was decent. Naito versus Hiromu was okay. Like, we could have shaved off some minutes off of that, but I mean, like, who cares? Um, and then Zack Sabre versus Shota Umino for the World Championship in the main event. To be honest with you, like, it was actually a really good story between Zack Sabre and Shooter. Um, but I think it was just like one of those things where, like, I think like with both of them kind of going into it, it was like it wasn't the best main event of the Wrestle Kingdoms and all that stuff, but still told a pretty good story. Let's just say that. Then the night after, or the day after, was Wrestle Dynasty, which had AEW, CMLL, New Japan Pro Wrestling, ROH, and Stardom. And the main event for that one was actually Virginia versus Ricochet for the World Championship, which actually was way better. That one was way better than Zack versus Umino, which was crazy. Um, because I remember I watched this. I think I watched this live. Um, which was actually kind of interesting. Um, and plus, this one was like way, it was like way longer of a card. Um, I do remember coming out of this show actually liking the Wrestle Dynasty card better than the Wrestle Kingdom card, which that's saying something. Um, I mean, that's just me. Um, then we had the Raw premiere on Netflix during this time too. This was when they transitioned from Peacock onto Netflix, which is a good like inkling that it was a good thing for like years to come. It's actually kind of interesting that they've been on Netflix for a whole year at this point. Um, and the main event for that one was CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, which, to be fair, good main event to have on your first show on Netflix. Get some eyes on it and all stuff too. Um, and then the day after that was New Year's Evil for NXT, which has Obafemi defeating Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe before he gets fired, which shocker. Um, and then Revolver with Vibe Check, which was actually a good. I've actually watched that show. That was actually a pretty good show. Masayo Tanaka versus Jake Chris in the Street Fight. That sounds fucking awesome. um, and then you had some GCW stuff. West Coast Pro. You had some shows. Um, let's see. New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley. That was actually a good card too. I think, from what I remember. Um, GCW, Thank Me Later, which was Effie versus the Garbage Daddies before Cole Radrick got hurt. Defeated Mance Warner and Violence is Forever, which Violence Forever is so fucking good. Like, dude, like, I wish they would also get signed by AEW, but nonetheless, like, they would kill everybody in their, in their wake. Prestige with Rosalind 10, Kevin Blackwood versus Masato Tanaka, which, I mean, I think Masato Tanaka's still going, I think. I could be wrong. He's 52. Like, yeah, he's still going to this day. Like, that's so fucking crazy. He's currently splitting his time in both Pro Wrestling Noah and Zero One, which, I mean, dude, like, the guy can still go. Like, even, despite his age, he could still fucking go, which is actually pretty detrimental to him. Um, and then we had AEW Maximum Carnage, which that's still a thing. Um, and then let's see. DPW, you already know. Jake something, who's the champion, or Jacob Doyle, as we know now, or Jake Doyle, defeats Ace Austin to retain the DPW World Championship. Um, let's see here. We have TNA Genesis, where has Joe Hendry defeats Nick Nemeth on that card. Think I remember seeing this show. I don't think I've watched this show, but like I remember this show actually being good. Because it had Moose versus Ace Austin, which is like Moose as X Division champion at that point was like actually a really good um indicator for things to come at that point. Because he was a pretty good dominant champion, I would say. Like, let's see if I can just see it here. Let's see here. No, I don't want that. I'm trying to find it here. Let's see. It's so crazy when you're trying to like fucking look for stuff. I think he had a good title reign with it. 262 days, or no, 266 days. Um, which I mean, to be fair, that's not a bad reign for your first. I think your first or second title reign. Um, let's see. Spitfire defeat Ash and Heather by elegance. Tessa Boo. Tessa Blanchard defeats Jordan Grace before she goes off to NXT. Mike Santana versus Josh Alexander. I remember watching this from that point forward, I think, live at that point. Um, and plus, Mike Santana versus Josh Alexander was an I Quit match, which is actually really good too. You should seek that one out if you haven't watched that already. Um, Hardys versus Rascals for the World Tag Titles. Then Masha Slamovich versus Rosemary for the Knockouts title. And then Joe Henry defeats Nick Nemeth. Um, and yes, the same vein, same day, I should say. It was GCW, the People versus GCW, where Effie wins the GCW World Championship and has a long, long reign uh, with that championship. I think he goes to uh, he lasts 307 days, which is like really, really freaking good. But it's like, he's had like a lot of like title reigns or title defenses between when he first won it and then over the past few months. Then we had T- Takeshita versus Shibata on a random homecoming episode of AEW, which was in Jacksonville, at Daly's place. Um, let's see here. Oh, Saturday night's main event. Right. Gotcha. So I think this was the rebranded. Yeah, this was like the rebranded one. Um, yeah, because after that it was yeah, because after that point it was like the last Saturday night's main event was on 2008, and then it was 16 years later. But I digress. Um, with the one from last year, it was okay. It was okay. It's not something to write home about, you know? I do know that. Oh, yeah, because they had another one at that point, too. Um, within the year, within 2025. Um, I don't remember seeing those being good, like, I guess from my point of view, but, like, I don't remember seeing them being good. Let's see. We had Revolver, GCW again. Oh yes, the Royal Rumble that was in February, not in January, because of the Saturday Night's main event. Um, this Rumble that year, I didn't mind it. I thought it was actually kind of interesting that they didn't give it to John Cena because it was his last, like his last run as a competitor. Um, but they did make up for it at the Chamber later that I think the next month. I think right. Yeah, it was in Toronto. That's right. Um, But I was like, huh, okay, Jey Uso winning the Rumble. I thought Punk was gonna win it, to be honest with you. Um, let's see here. Oh yeah, we had New Japan with the New Beginning, which is where Hiroki Goto defeats Zack Sabre Jr. to win the world title. I was actually kind of proud. that he won it. It was like actually kind of cool. We had Pro Wrestling Noah, Ozawa versus Galeno Damel, who is actually, I think he's either kayfabe brothers or he's brothers with, yeah, he's the son of Dr. Wagner Jr., which is actually kind of really crazy. Um, let's see. Yeah, so his father is Dr. Wagner Jr., his brother is El Hido Dr. Wagner Jr., and then Dr. Wagner is his grandfather, which is so crazy. Like, he comes from he's like technically a third generation person, which is actually really insane. Um, so then we had AEW Grand Slam Australia, where Tony Storm wins the AEW Women's Championship against Mariah May. Vengeance Day, which was the NXT pay per view. Julia defeats Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Bayley in the main event for the NXT Women's Championship. Oh yes, the Jersey J Cup for GCW, which was actually actually a pretty good show too. Um, and then I think it was at this point like I was watching GCW, but it wasn't like really watching it to the point where I'm at now. Like I watch it like every single time it comes on. Um, but then it was just like like I try to watch the regular stuff like WWE, AEW, and all that stuff. But I don't know why. Lately, I've just been just watching GCW, and I always have a very very fun time with it because it's easy to watch and digest. I don't know why, I don't know why, but um. So we go into March. We have the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. That's where John Cena defeats Punk, McIntyre, Logan Paul, Priest, and Rollins to get a WWE Championship shot at Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41 that year. And then the infamous John Cena heel turn, which could have been way better, to be honest with you. I mean, it was actually pretty cool to see John Cena heel, but he hadn't turned heel since November 2003. So it's like, damn, like damn. Um, let's see. 53rd anniversary show for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hiroki Goto versus Tanahashi. Um, oh yes, AEW Revolution. Let's go over this card real quick because I want to actually look at this because I think I no, I don't think I watched this show. No, I think I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. Um, because I watched it later. Um, yeah, okay, so I will say this. The main event was not the best main event that they had at that time. I would have probably put the women's title match on the main event. Only because the crowd kind of was getting winded by the end of Osprey and Fletcher in the steel cage match. And then they kind of had to follow that up with Mox, Adam Copeland, and Christian Cage. Um, I would have probably maybe put the World Championship on first to kind of like get that out of the way and done with. And then would have probably put Tony Storm and Mariah May on last. I mean, yes, it's almost 13 minutes, but it's 13 minutes of pure adrenaline rush that it would have made up for it, and it was way better than it should have been. And plus, the crowd goes home happy at the end. Um, Either that, or I would have put maybe Omega versus Takeshita on last. Because yeah, like after Storm and May, Omega and Takeshita, and Osprey and Fletcher, the crowd is super gassed, like super gassed out, because their emotions were really, really riding high after those three matches. So it was kind of like, oh. I mean, credit where credit is due. Mox, Cope, and Cage were trying to like do something, try to get the crowd up, but it just didn't work. But yeah, I would have probably put Tony Storm and Mariah May on last. That's just me though. I mean, it would have been fine too. Um, let's see, we had Roadblock for NXT, TNA Sacrifice, which, okay, this is the most convoluted fucking thing I have ever seen. So we had Joe Hendry, Matt Hardy, Elijah, aka Elias, Leon Slayer, and Nick Nemeth versus the System, which was Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, and JDC, which is Fandango, who recently, just a few months ago, or a few days ago, just retired. Good to him. And the Colognes in a 10-man steel cage match. What? um, I don't know what to think about this. I mean, it was like very odd. It's very odd. And plus, like, yeah, Jeff versus Moose in the ladder match for the X Division Championship, that would have been perfect to go on last. Like, why not? Like, why not? Um, let's see here. Oh yes, this was when Wesley turned on Miguel and Zachary at NXT and all that stuff. So yeah, that's true. The Rascals and Ace Austin versus Wesley, Tyson Dupont, and Tyreek Aweki. If I'm probably pronouncing that last name wrong, I am so sorry. And Lucha Rules 6-man tag. Okay. All right. Um, let's see here. Oh yeah, the GCW shows during that time too was actually pretty good too. Um, yeah, because I remember watching the John Wayne Murdoch versus Mr. Danger in a deathmatch show. That's actually pretty good too. Matt Tremont versus Beastman, which, no pun intended, that was actually a really beast like matchup there. Um, Rev Pro, Mike Oku, who was undisputed British heavyweight champion at that point, defeating one called Manders, which is actually that was actually a pretty good match too. Um, the New Japan Cup that year was won by David Finlay, which is actually pretty nice. Uh, Rey de Reyes, King of Kings, Alberto El Patron versus El Hijo del Vikingo for the Triple A Mega Championship, which actually I think that was actually I've heard that was a good show. I think. Let's see, El Mesas, which is um Mil Muertes. I think that's Mil Muertes. Let me see here. Yes, Mil Muertes. Yes. Judas Messias, if anybody knows him from TNA, defeats Escalera, and then Mr. Iguana, and Panic Clown. Panic Clown. Okay, that's actually an interesting name. Um, Gio del Dardart Winter Jr. defeats Mecha Wolf 450. Actually, I know him. He's actually pretty cool. Chess Man, and Negro Casas. Let's see here. Let's see. Flamer versus Dailies. Which actually, I think that was actually a pretty good match too. Um, I mean, at this point, it's like AAA is like trying to like put on some good magic at this point. Um, GCW No Comprende. That was actually a really good show. America's Most Wanted. That was actually okay. So this one was actually the lead up to GCW versus JCW. Because I think it was like later that night. I think it was JCW and GCW having like a fist fight outside, which I was like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of cool, kind of interesting, but all right. And it actually led to a pretty good 2 day war, I should say. Um, so going into April, we had the MLW Battle Riot, Secura Genesis, Dynasty. That was actually a pretty good one. I wish they would just give it Swerve the title there, just to be honest with you. Um, New Japan Pro Wrestling with the Windy City Riot in Chicago. This was Tanahashi's last match in the United States. Which is sad to say. Um, let's see. Dragon Gate USA had a show. Spring Breakthrough. Um, oh yes, now this was like during the WrestleMania week shows here. So we had Defy Living Proof, the Mark Hitchcock's Memorial Super Show. That was actually a really good Super Show. Bloodsport, and then let's see, we had Progress Las Vegas, Vegas Vacation for West Coast Pro, Prestige Nothing to Lose, Unbreakable. We had Stardom American Dream. Um, we had DDT Goes Las Vegas, Joey Janela's Spring Break 9, which had the retirement match of Sabu. Um, and then we had GCW and Fourth Rope with Heels Have Eyes for the Culture. Um, let's see. Then DPW, Dragon Gate USA. Then we had GCW, FE's Big Gay Brunch 10. Joey Jones Spring Break Clusterfuck Forever. Uh, TJPW versus DDT versus GCW. Then we had Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania 41. And then, like, so that was just during WrestleMania week, which I actually watched majority of those shows during WrestleMania week. Um, yeah, it's just like that was a long, long time ago too. Um, kind of like going over some stuff. TNA Rebellion was there. Um, oh yes, the GCW's crazy, crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious show, which had it was Alec Price and Jordan Oliver versus Subculture. That was actually a really, really good match. Um, and then the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dontaku, um, which had the craziest fucking match. It was Bullet Club War Dogs, which was Finley, Connors, Drill Maloney, I'm sorry, Gabe Kidd and Ishimori versus House of Torture in a dog pound match. That was actually really crazy. And then the next day was Hiroki Goto versus Callum Newman for the New Japan World Championship. That was actually a really good match. Both of those shows were actually pretty good. Um, it's like I'm kind of like trying to like pick and choose what I do here. But like I will say this: 2025 as a whole was actually some pretty good wrestling that year or last year. Because we had some like ups and downs with some some storylines and all that stuff. And then like you had the John Cena heel turn. You had the the longest like singles reign of Athena breaking just over 1 year. Um, I mean, WrestleMania week 2 was actually kind of solid too. Um, but it's like like you're trying to like you're trying to like get through the good stuff to get to the bad stuff. But I will say this: we had lots of debuts this year, just in like wrestling alone. But I want to kind of talk about the retirements too. We had Laura De Meto, which was from Pro Wrestling Eve in Progress Wrestling. She retired. Sumi Sakai, great, great Joshi wrestler. She retired too. Christopher Daniels, Randy Kirk, Homicide, not RIP, but I hate to see him go, like retire and all that stuff, but it's like, that's crazy. Sabu, who's no longer with us, Tam Nakano, Mika Sawamura, Danny Palmer, sad to see her go, from wrestling, Goldberg, Sonya Deville, Jake Hager, Sammy Callahan, Big E, he had retired too, Dudley Boys, Wild Boar, John Cena on December 13th, which, he got tapped out. And yeah, it's like, that's crazy. So now we're gonna go into the deaths here. Some of the names that I've probably had said before. Um, it will be probably resaid again. One of them mostly. Um, we had Gran Hamada, who was a Japanese pro wrestler in New Japan, and in All Japan too. And he had passed away last year. Australian Suicide, who was in AAA. He had passed away last year. Steve Michael, Sabu, which it was crazy that it was like a month after Joey Janela's spring break he had passed. It was like, what? It's like I just saw him like, like a few weeks ago. I remember when that happened, I was talking to Marissa about it, and she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I know." Hulk Hogan, um, Mr. Electricity, Steve Regal. I don't really know who he was, but I kind of remember that name. Jaka. Um, he was actually pretty young too. Um, I mean, rest in peace, dude. And Bob Caudle, announcer for the NWA, JCP, and Jim Crockett Promotions, and Solomon Grundy, um, which is actually, I know that's a Batman reference, but I didn't know there was an actual wrestler named Solomon Grundy. Um, but yeah, this is actually it was actually kind of interesting just to like see like from when we used to do like wrestling from like the 90s and early 2000s, early 2010s, and all that stuff to like now in the 2020s. Because like when pandemic happened in 2020, there was not a lot of like wrestling going on because you had social distancing, you had to do like a lot of stuff like all over again. And then you go into 2024, 2025, like kind of going into, that sort of thing. And it's like, it's all from up from there. In a good way. Um, it's so good to see that, wrestling is thriving again. And it's actually really, really cool that we've had the pleasure and get to experience a lot of wrestling that is really, really good nowadays. And plus like all these promotions coming together and kind of just making wrestling whole again, making the indies really, really good again. And I know um last year, DPW had closed its doors for the foreseeable future, which is sad to see because I've never experienced a DPW show. I know like what they are, and I know they are super high energy, which is good. Um, but I've had experience with like four GCW shows now. One in 2023, one or two of them in 24, and then the one last year at the NGI 10. Um, all of them are good in their own way, and it's kind of crazy that, we can look back on some of this, like, wrestling from back then and just be like, wow, like, a lot has changed since now and then. Um, but yeah, this is actually kind of fun. So, if you have made it to the very end of this video, please make sure to follow us on all social media links in the description below, which will take you to our Linktree page, which will take you to our Instagram pages, Twitter pages, the podcast Reddit page is on there, my gaming YouTube channel is on there. My current subscriber count right now is at 1671 right now, which is really, really good, really freaking crazy. I could be hitting 1700 by the end of the month. I don't really know for sure. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Um, for tonight's song of the night, it is going to be Good Charlotte, and it's going to be The Young and the Hopeless. Um, and I kind of want to do, maybe at some point, maybe do a breakdown of that Good Charlotte album. I would want to do that because actually it was a really, really good album. But yeah, that is it. And I will see you guys next Thursday. Peace.